afternoon, everybody. What is going on? I am jeffgrantMEDIA. In today's real user review, we're going to be taking a look at the Gootium Canvas Rucksack. Now, I did reach out to Gootium, see if they wanted to do a review. They said yes, so they did send me the Canvas Rucksack for free. But all of the opinions in this video are mine and mine alone. I did not share this content with Gootium prior to publication. They will see this when you do. Now, why did I reach out to Gootium to do the Canvas Rucksack? I wanted the Joel backpack from The Last of Us. This is the closest thing that I could find to the Joel backpack from The Last of Us. As you can see, I'm wearing my Flint and Tinder Wax Trucker in the field tan, which is the color that Pedro Pascal wears as Joel in the HBO show The Last of Us. So I went down the rabbit hole. I looked all over the place, and the only bag that I could find that kind of resembled it with the same basic features was this bag. Now, it's not 100% the same bag because the bag in the show was modeled after the bag for the game, so it was custom made. It is not an actual production product. The jacket, it is the Flint and Tinder Wax Trucker jacket from Huckberry. The backpack, it is not. It is a custom made bag for the show based on the backpack from the game. And the closest thing I could find was the Gootium Canvas Rucksack. Now, sidebar, I just rewatched The Walking Dead, the original series, not any of the spin-offs, and I believe that Aaron actually also uses this bag when he goes out in the beginning when he finds Rick's group and brings them back to Alexandria. So I'm pretty sure that Aaron is actually using this same bag, just with the branding removed. So I think that this bag has actually been used in a TV show, not just as the closest thing I could find to a bag that was made for a different TV show. So, with that out of the way, that's why I ended up getting the Gootium Canvas Rucksack. And now let's tell you a little bit about it by giving you some specs of the bag. Also, if you hear any of the loud banging and screaming in the background, Hazel is upstairs doing yoga, and apparently she doesn't grasp the concept of Zen in the yoga because she's just yelling, screaming, and banging around. But she's having a good time, so that's the yelling and banging you will hear throughout this video in the background. The Gootium Canvas Rucksack is available on Amazon, and it comes in two sizes, a small and a large. The small comes in at $45.99 USD, and the large comes in at $49.99 USD. Both bags are made from 16-ounce 100% cotton. The small bag comes in at 12 by 8 by 15 inches, or roughly 1,440 cubic inches, or roughly 23.6 liters. The large comes in at 13.5 by 8 by 17.7 inches, or roughly 1,911.6 cubic inches, or 31.33 liters. It is available in 5 colorways: army green, black, camo, coffee, and khaki. My bag is the size large in the army green. So it does look a little, I'm looking at the monitor, it does look a little more tan, almost the same color of my jacket, but in person, this is like a lighter olive drab. This is like the color you would find on most bags for like a military surplus store, like the actual military olive green, but maybe a little bit lighter, not quite as, maybe dial back the saturation. So in person, this definitely looks a lot more green than the tan it looks on camera. And as always, we're going to start with the negatives so we can end on a positive note. And the very first negative was that when this bag got to me, it had a bit of an odor to it. It's definitely dissipated quite a bit. I mean, most of what I can smell now are the leather from the badging and the accents. This is actually leather on the bag, but the canvas did have a bit of a smell. It's very, very faint now, but it did dissipate. It really only took about 2-3 days of using it to dissipate. But the bag did have a little bit of an odor when it got to me, which was a little weird. I mean, I've gotten things from overseas that have had a little bit of an odor to it. Usually though, when I get like a jacket, like a leather jacket, because the dyes sometimes smell, and if it's not the best quality leather jacket, sometimes they have a chemically smell to it. So this did have a little bit of an odor. I wouldn't say it was the same as like a chemically smell like from a leather jacket, but it was a little weird. I've never really had that kind of smell on a bag before, but again, it did dissipate pretty quickly. Within like, I'd say 2-3 days, it was basically gone. And like, if I'm really getting in there to give it a whiff, I can kind of smell it, but not too much. Here, give it a whiff. So it did have a little odor. It went away pretty quickly. Now my next negative is that this bag only has one zipper pocket right here that is inside the bag, and this is like my admin pocket. This is where I got a bunch of stuff. There's some pens and there's a pen and a Sharpie in here. I have my Aleve tablets because I hurt my back and my back's been bothering me. Got some random stuff like a GR136 pouch. There's some random things in here. I will go through the whole loadout of this bag a little bit later on, but there is just this single zipper pocket that will completely secure things in the bag. All of the other pockets are just flap closures, so there is only one secure closure on the bag. Okay, what do you want to say, babe?
Well, there's lots of things to do, but even there's one hard thing to do with the yoga. The belly and the lift, because it hurts my tummy. I'm doing yoga.
Here, come over here so they can see you.
Guess what? I'm doing yoga with my mommy upstairs. So, I'm just coming here to tell my daddy something. So, it's a secret.
Okay. Can I tell you a secret? I love you very much, and I don't care who knows it.
Bye. Love you guys.
Bye, babe.
Hugs.
You're so cute, darling. The next negative is that these straps are kind of thin. There is padding in here, but they are a bit thin. Now, I didn't overload this bag by any means, but this is the size large. Again, it's like almost 32 liters. It's like 31.5 liters. So I would like to see a little bit more padding in these straps for how large this bag is. I didn't carry a ton in it, so you know, I definitely didn't feel like I was super uncomfortable, but for the size of this bag, I would like to see a little bit more padding in the shoulder straps. But again, this is only a $50 bag off of Amazon, so I don't expect it to have, you know, like a lot of high density foam padding in here and a lot of high-end features, because again, it's only a $50 bag off of Amazon. But really, those are my three negatives of the bag. That's the only three things that I would really like to see worked on or changed. Maybe an additional zipper pocket in here just for some more securement. I didn't really want a lot of zippers on the bag, at least not externally. Aesthetically, I didn't want them because I wanted it to look like the bag from the movie, but also, I mean, if this is going to be that bag, that rucksack that you have for years and years and years, in my mind, the first thing to fail is going to be the zippers. Although, ideally with this bag, I would like to see these to be not snaps, to actually just be completely straps. We're going to get into that a little bit later on. I do like that these are mechanical snaps, not magnets. I will talk about that a little bit later. You might have seen me mention that in my unboxing if you watched that video, but you know, I would like to see maybe an additional zipper pocket on the inside of this bag to really help secure some of those high priority items. Like if you have medications or something like that, I'd like to see those be a little bit more secure. But ultimately, I mean, the bag is kind of what I was going for, the aesthetics, which is not a lot of pockets, not a lot of zippers. Now let's get into a couple of neutral points. And the very first one, as you can see, the bag's frumpy. There's no form to it at all. There's no frame sheet in this. It is just canvas with some leather accents and snap closures. So there's not going to be, the bag's obviously not going to stand up on its own. There is nothing that's going to give it a lot of shape unless you stuff the bag to give it shape. The bag is just going to be this floppy thing that's going to kind of form to whatever you set it on. If I lay it on its back, it's going to obviously lay a little bit flatter and you can see it, but it doesn't have any kind of form or shape to it. It is just a canvas bag. So if you wanted something with a little bit more rigidity, you're definitely going to want to go and look at some of your higher end canvas, your wax canvas bags. That's going to add a little bit more rigidity to it. You know, some of your like your Frost River bags, they're probably going to have some better back panels and back support, but they're also going to be like $450 as opposed to $50 for this bag right here. Another neutral point is it does have quite a large piece of branding right here on the front of the bag. It is branded on the inside of the bag. There is a tag on the side. I like this little tag on the side, but it does have this large patch right here that is right on the front of the flap. You could probably pop this off, and I'm sure with a little bit of time, you might be able to cover up the holes because, again, this is just canvas. There's nothing on the back side. It's not going to be any like VX material where the holes are never going to go away. But, you know, I maybe like to see this branding be completely gone and not have a patch on the front at all. That would just be kind of nice just for a cleaner aesthetic look. Ultimately, it doesn't really bother me too much because plenty of bags have large tags. Plenty of the bags I own have like a big piece of Velcro hook and loop here for a morale patch. So ultimately, I am definitely used to having something prominent on the front of the bag, but for this style, I would maybe like to see it just plain, but it's by no means a deal breaker for me. Another point of note is there is no laptop sleeve in this bag. So what I've been doing is I've been using this, which is the new Green Room 136 book pouch. This is the size small. This would actually fit my old 2006 15-inch MacBook Pro, so I could stick this in here. But I've been just carrying my tablet in here, and just to give it a little bit more securement because there is no padding or anything in the bag. But please note that if you were looking for something to carry your laptop in, you're definitely gonna have to put your own laptop sleeve inside the bag because there is no protection and no sleeve for it in here. And if you lay it against the back of the bag, which you should, it might give the bag a little bit more rigidity and give it a little bit more structure. And my last point of note is something that I've already said multiple times. If you were looking for the Joel bag from The Last of Us, this is the closest thing that I could find to a bag that you could purchase that is the Joel bag. And I believe even in the Amazon reviews, someone took this, added the duct tape and whatnot to it to make this look even more like the Joel bag from The Last of Us. So if that was the bag you were looking for, the Gootium Rucksack is the closest thing off the shelf that you're going to find. And now let's get into the positives. And the very first positive about this bag is all of these closures, they are actual snaps. They're not magnetic, they're actual snaps. Let's see, can you hear it with all the yoga going on upstairs? And you can actually adjust them so the actual belt strap, if you will work, so you can actually loosen it or tighten it down. If you want to overstuff these pockets, you can adjust this as well. But the one thing that I really liked is that it has the two side pockets, the front pocket, and the main closure are all mechanical snaps. I hate magnetic buttons. They never work. They always pop loose, especially if you're trying to secure something, they pop off, where these are all actual mechanical snaps, so they secure, they close, you can hear the click. I really like that. Ultimately, I mean, for the bag like this, that would out for my apocalypse bag, I would prefer there be no snaps and these would be leather straps, and I'd have to undo them every time. That would just make it secure, make it last longer. But we're not in the apocalypse, and let's face it, the majority of us, if an apocalypse does happen, we're not gonna make it. So I'm not gonna need to worry about what bag I would bring in the apocalypse, because chances are we're not gonna last for more than a couple hours to a couple of days. Because let's face it, in this day and age, it's probably gonna be nuclear, and there's gonna be fallout, and we ain't gonna make it past a nuclear bomb. Sorry, but that's the truth. My next positive is about this main flap here. Now, you can see it's not snapped. I haven't been snapping it because the two belts, they have a little bit of weight to them, so it helps to weigh the flap down. So I've been using the drawstring to close the top lid. So I just drawstring it in, but then I just throw the flap over, and because these belt buckles have a little bit of weight, it holds it down. So the flap is big enough, and it's got enough weight in the front that it just stays down. So I don't have to snap these closed every single time. So it makes getting in and out a little bit quicker, a little bit easier, and it just helps me to be lazy. I mean, that's the simple fact, is I'm just lazy. I don't have to snap it. I can throw it. So the lid, it still covers the top. You can see here, I don't have any exposed sides, so I'm still completely covered. If I were to have this bag out in the rain or anything, I would definitely snap it to make sure, but the way I've just been using it as my daily EDC is I just flap the lid down and it stays pretty much where I want it without having to actually secure it closed. Now, if I use this on the scooter, I will snap it down, but I just started riding the scooter again like 2-3 days ago, and it's been pouring the past day or two, so I haven't really been able to ride it the past. So I guess I've been riding the scooter for the past like 4 days, but the past 2 days I haven't been able to ride it because it's been raining. And I'm in my 40s. I'm a fair weather rider these days. So, I mean, it's fun. I love it. But if it's raining, I'm just going to take the cage. But I would snap these closed if I take this bag on the scooter. But I don't have to. Walking around from the car, around in the office building, the flap stays exactly where I want it without having to secure it. The next positive is that this bag actually has quite a bit of organization to it. You can see we have a large pocket on the front. Then we also have 2 pockets, one on either side of the bag. And all of these pockets are snap closures. The front one having the adjustable belt. The side 2 just have leather, so they aren't as adjustable, but they do share the same mechanical snaps on both sides. So we have 2 pockets on the side, 1 big pocket in the front with ample storage. We have a large interior space here that once you open this, you can really access the whole thing. And then we do have our 1 interior zipper pocket. So the bag actually has a lot of organization. I have everything kind of where I want it, where I know where everything's at. So I really have this bag set up for a good layout for me. And you know, it looks pretty simple, but it actually has quite a bit of built-in organization with a large main compartment that I can actually dump everything I want to. Because one thing I don't like about a bag is when it's very segmented, where it has a lot of built-in organization, but you can't really fit a lot into it because it's all segmented for the organization. Certain bags will often have a large main compartment, so you can still get a lot into it, but a lot of times when you're seeing some of these bags that are just built to have all of these different pockets and zippers, A, you lose things, and B, you can't fit a lot in it because there's just too much going on. There's too many pockets, there's too much segmentation to it. You can't get anything in the bag because, you know, you just have to put it all into a tiny pocket, so you can't fit any larger, bulkier items. Not the case here. Plenty of organization, large main compartment, so I can still fit everything I want inside the bag. And this is a pretty nice, simple looking heritage style bag. Now, it's not waxed canvas, but you can wax this if you wanted to. It is 100% cotton, 16 ounce, so you can definitely wax this bag if that's something you want to do. And hint, hint, I'm gonna wax this bag, so stay tuned. I will film it, I will wax this bag, so we can get a look at what it's gonna look like if this was a waxed bag. So you might wanna plug that into your calendar and put it on your radar. But it is a nice, basic, simple heritage style bag, which was, again, the aesthetic that I was personally going for. Now, what do I have inside this bag? We'll start with our ample front compartment here. And here I have my 2 Skinneth pound cake pouches. I have my bran muffin and my cupcake, which I keep right in here. And there's still plenty of room. I could still fit a lot more stuff in here, but I've been kind of trying to organize it so everything has its own space. So in that pocket, I've got my 2 Skinneth pouches. The side pocket here, I have my first aid kit and my auxiliary kit that I don't need this too much anymore. This is masks and buffs and stuff. So the buffs work, you know, both for wearing a mask and if it's cold outside. And my boo-boo kit. Now I still carry this all the time because there are still places that you need a mask. And since I don't have to wear a mask in most of those places, including like doctor's offices and dentist's office now don't make me wear them, I don't really carry one with me all the time in my car. Sometimes I take it in the house and forget about it. So I do like to still carry it with me just to have it for that odd place that I go that's gonna make me put on a mask, because we're gonna have to deal with this for the rest of our lives. So, you know, sometimes people are a little paranoid, make me throw one on. I like to have one for security reasons. Moving on to the other side, this is where I have my Green Room 136 sardine tin and my Green Room 136 tuna tin, and these both fit in here. And I could probably fit the pocketbook slim, which is inside the bag. I could probably fit that in here too, but that one's more of an admin, so that's why I've been keeping it inside the bag, inside this zipper pocket here. So inside the zipper pocket, which you can see, it's pretty big. I mean, that's probably 6-8 inches deep. And here we have my Loyalty Barbershop beer koozie. You never know when you need one. They're great to have around. My pocketbook slim. Just a little neoprene thing. This is the charger for my Kindle and my earbuds. My Aleve for my busted back. And then I have a pen and a Sharpie. So this is my admin panel here, which is why I've been putting the pocketbook slim in here, because this has like business cards and stuff like that. So it's more admin than what I have inside my tuna tin and sardine tin. So I've been throwing that stuff in here. These are all fairly flat items too, so they don't take up a ton of space inside. They all lay pretty good, with the exception of my Aleve, which is obviously round. Now, inside my ample ample main compartment. I have my tech kit, my admin kit. This has lots of different stuff in here. Don't need to go into it. It's my personal admin stuff. We have my Green 136 book pouch that has some photographs and my tablet in here. And again, I could also fit my 15-inch MacBook Pro inside here. And I think that might be, oh, and the notebook that I'm taking notes on, that also lives inside here when I'm not reading it for the notes for a video. And then, you know, whatever I need for the day, like I'll throw my lunchbox in here. I don't throw my lunchbox inside every bag, but because this one's big enough and I have tons and tons of space, I throw my lunchbox in here. And then whatever incidentals I have, like I'm wearing this jacket now, but sometimes in the morning it's cooler. When I'm coming out of work in the afternoon, it's a little hotter. Sometimes I'll take my jacket or my sweatshirt off. I don't really throw my jacket inside the bag, but my sweatshirt, I'll take my sweatshirt off. I'll throw that inside the bag. I've been wearing those Flint and Tinder 10-year hoodies. Those are awesome hoodies. Start the morning off with those. When I come out, it's usually between 70 and 85 degrees. That'll go inside the bag on my way out the door. So this bag is pretty big to fit all of my normal stuff, plus plenty of incidentals. And again, this is about 31.5 liters. Generally for me, I think my sweet spot for EDC is like that mid 20 range. So for me, this is generally, if you're looking at liters, a little bit bigger than what I would normally use, but because it doesn't have a lot of structure, sometimes when you have a larger bag, like a 30 some liter bag, and it has structure to it, I feel like I'm carrying a huge box on my back. But because this is a little bit floppier and it doesn't have all of that form, and it is frumpy, it will kind of just compact itself, and I don't feel like I'm carrying 33 liters on my back when it's not completely full, because again, it doesn't have a ton of structure, so I don't feel like I'm carrying this box on my back. It just kind of sinks in on itself, and it definitely feels like I'm carrying a much smaller bag when it's not fully packed out. And I haven't really packed this thing out huge and packed it to the gills because I don't need to. And again, the shoulder straps are a little thin, so I don't want to carry a ton of weight in here because I don't want to hurt the old collarbones. This body is getting old, and it's got to last me for like another 40 years, so I got to start taking care of it. But all in, all said and done, what do I think of the Gootium Canvas Rucksack? And honestly, I dig it. I'm a little surprised how much I do actually like it. It is, if you want to go ahead and consider a low-end bag, it's a $50 bag from Amazon. And sometimes people equate Amazon with low quality and the $50 price tag with low quality. Now, I've been using this for at least a month, maybe a little more. I've been switching off and on. I use this primarily for at least 3-4 weeks, and then I kind of switched back and forth between a couple of bags. I got a few things that I really wanted to try, so I kind of bounced back and forth between bags the past couple of weeks. But I mean, I've used this pretty heavily, and I like it. It's comfortable to wear. It felt pretty good on the back. I wore it over the wax jacket, no problem. I wore it over a sweatshirt, no problem. I've worn it over just a button-down shirt, no problem. And it's felt good in any combination that I've worn it with. So ultimately, yeah, I kind of like it. I dig it. I think it's definitely worth $50. Now, if this was going to be like a $7,500 bag, I think I would definitely sway away from it. But I think it's right on point at a $50 pack. So all of the negatives, which I only had 3, none of them are drastic enough that would make me not want to spend $50 on this bag. So really, it's not a bad pack for $50. It's a pretty good price point. Now, I have seen some reviews where people showed the snaps pulling off on them and whatnot, and that could happen to you too. But you know what? Amazon has a pretty liberal return policy. You would just send it back, you can get your money back, or you can get a brand new bag. I have not had that problem with mine, and they didn't send me this one. It came from Amazon. They sent it to me, but they shipped it from one of their Amazon, and I think they just put it on their Amazon account and sent it to me because this came from the Amazon truck. So this was delivered to me in an Amazon package. So I got the same one that anyone ordering from Amazon would get, and I didn't have any of those issues. But if you're looking at some of the reviews, I will state it now. I saw a couple people showing that some of the snaps pulled out in them. I didn't have any of that happen to any of my snaps. The bag is held up just fine, and I've been using it again for quite some time. The only thing I'm finding difficult really is I normally would just sit here and hold the bag, but because it has no structure, the bag kind of keeps flopping down on me. So normally I would just be like leaning on the bag sometimes, but I prop it up like it's like a ventriloquist dummy at this point because there's no form or structure to it. But that kind of, again, that no form or structure worked for me, at least when I was carrying a smaller EDC, because it would just kind of collapse in on itself. So I didn't feel like I was carrying a larger pack. So if you're looking at it, if you wanted that Joel look, this is where you got to go. If you don't want to spend $450 on like a Frost River or Forest River, now I can't think offhand, is it Forest or Frost? I'm going to have to look it up and see which one of those it is, because I'm having a total brain fart right now. But for the bag, for a canvas bag, it's nice. It works out really well. I will say I have had plenty of military rucksacks, and they have absolutely no padding. It's just like two pieces of canvas sewn together. So if you're going to an Army Navy store, you might spend about the same amount of money for like a Rothko rucksack, but it's not going to have any padding in it. It's just going to be the canvas strap. So you're going to have absolutely no padding in like a Rothko rucksack. And I've had many of those in my days because I worked at and ran an Army Navy store many moons ago. But ultimately, yeah, I'm happy with the bag for 50 bucks. It's right on point. So I think, you know, I think I would give it a shot. If I was going to spend my own 50 bucks, I would definitely spend 50 bucks on this bag. So if you like this video or any of my other videos, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Smash that big pink button, as Hazel would say, even though it's red, and ring that bell right next to it so you get notifications next time I post a brand new video. Good night.